Okay, so can we give a big warm round of applause to Jeremy?
Confusing, like which one should you be using? If you are worried or you're pouting, astonished, tired, busy or disappointed, Emojipedia tells you so you can say farewell to not knowing what an emoji means. Oh, with Emojipedia you can find immediate help in any emoji emergency. Emoji emergency.
Hello. The next web. It is good to be here. That is meant to be you guys, but we should get some new emojis with phones instead of computers. First of all, I'd like to, Jonathan Mann, give it up for Jonathan Mann. That's Song a Day Man on YouTube. He sings a song every day, and if you haven't seen him, you should check him out. I particularly like that he used this emoji in the end of his song there. It's the hospital emoji, and it doesn't get much use, the hospital. What does get used is this. It's the love hotel emoji. It's an emoji used in Japan. If you haven't seen a love hotel, it's something you can hire by the hour for special purposes. And something you can do that's fun on Twitter is you can jump on Twitter and check who's using this one. And normally it's people saying, oh, get well soon, Grandma. You know, hope you feel better. It's good fun. It's good fun. I never pick people up on it because it is a confusing looking one, but really that's fun. And it is confusing. This is meant to be a confused face emoji. It doesn't look that confused to me. This is what it looks like on a bunch of other platforms. I quite like Mozilla in the bottom corner over there. That looks confused. And I mean, when I think of the confused face, I normally think of the ASCII, the old school with the 2, the colon, and the S. Microsoft used to have one of those, but they got rid of it for platform consistency. So anyway, hello. We don't have a bunch of time, so I'm going to power through a bunch of stuff. You're going to have to keep up, take your phones if you need to take some pictures, because we're going to fly through some things. If you didn't catch it, my name is Jeremy. I'm the founder of Emojipedia, and I'm also a member of the Unicode Emoji Subcommittee. And if you don't know of Unicode, I'm going to let my friend Stephen tell you a bit about it. Bit of audio.
Unicode Consortium, which I don't have to tell you people is the non-profit responsible for approving all new emojis. And you know any new emojis are going to be good. These are the same guys who came up with 5 different kinds of boats.
It is true, and so when people find out that my job is documenting emoji use and approving new emojis, people have a lot of questions. There's a lot of confusion out there, and there's a lot of cool things about emojis, and I want to just cover a few of these in quick succession. A lot of the answers to emoji questions can be answered by Japan. The original emoji set from Japan looked a bit like this, and a lot of the confusing ones, they're from Japan. That sort of covers a good chunk of the emoji questions right there. Why? Because Japan had them. Incidentally, this emoji here, it's not that exciting. It's called crossed flags, and it's generally shown as 2 Japanese flags, but any Samsung users in the room? Samsung, a few, not bad. On a Samsung phone, they changed it. This is what it used to look like. They changed it to look like a South Korean flag. This is a couple of years ago. Then last year, they got rid of it altogether, which is a shame. So a lot of the questions, people think that emoji, like it's just Unicode deciding what happens, but really it comes down to what Unicode decide and what the vendors do. The most common question I get are what I call this but not that questions. This but not that. Why is there a baseball but no softball? Why are there 2 camels and no giraffe? This is the crux of every question that I almost ever get asked. Why are there a bunch of trains and there's no disco ball? And honestly, it's kind of going down the wrong track because Unicode do 2 different things. On the one hand, they'll encode an emoji for compatibility reasons because it existed in Japan. It doesn't have to prove that it was a good emoji. It's there to be compatible. So if you're proposing a new emoji, don't go after the useless ones. Don't say, my emoji should exist because all these other rubbish emojis already exist. You want to pick one that people actually use. So this, but not that, isn't a good approach for an emoji proposal, I'd have to say. Something that a lot of people don't realize is it wasn't just Japan that made its way into emoji. This guy here is called Man in Business Suit Levitating, and he came from, I see a few familiar looks, a popular font called Webdings on Windows. It was the slightly less popular than Windings, but nonetheless, Webdings, good font, and it had this character here called Jump. And so Unicode, they didn't just bring in the Japanese emojis, they brought in all of Webdings into emoji as well. And the designer of this font was a man called Vincent Conner. He worked at Microsoft, and he wanted to make it look like this album from the Specials, and so he did. That's a true story. He's also the man who designed Comic Sans, so he knows a lot about typography. So there it is. That's the guy there. It made it into emoji like this. And because it's an emoji, it got the skin tones as well. So what a world, hey? What a world. Now, something I really like about emojis is that they force companies to have a personality. The tech companies we deal with today are literally the biggest companies in the world. Apple, Microsoft, Google. And big companies hate having personalities. They hate to say anything that means anything outside of design and what their actual products are. So in a sort of a perverse way, I enjoy that emoji pushes them into that territory. A good example is this 100 emoji. Microsoft used to have it looking like this. It's very corporate. They kind of fixed it last year, and they made it look like this. And then they beefed it up and gave it a bit of character. And now, this is an easy example, but the fun ones kind of move further along the track. There's the peach. Yeah, a few peach fans. Now, a lot of you might have noticed last year, Apple, they changed it to look like an actual peach. They were redesigning every emoji in the set, and to be honest, I don't think they really knew what was going on and what people use the peach for. I don't think it was censorship, but I think they pretty quickly found out what people thought about it. So here's Apple, the biggest company in the world, having to make a change back again in the next beta release to make their peach look like a butt, and everybody was happy. The world rejoiced. It was amazing. So there's this level where people think that Unicode is in control here, but often the vendors are in control. It's Apple that decides whether your peach looks like a butt or not if you have an iPhone. And incidentally, we thought we'd check, is this true? Does everybody use the peach as a butt? So we did a quick analysis of all the tweets that use the peach emoji and checked which other words are in those tweets. And sure enough, it's really not getting, the fruit isn't seeing much usage there. I put it in a chart, and it looks like this. 7%. 7% was fruit. So there's a big spectrum of what an emoji means, and that's on the spectrum. Something cool, a quick cool emoji thing that you can do. Bots, we've got one called Botmoji. You can tweet it and you can say, hey, Botmoji, you know the hands that look like this? Are they jazz hands? And it will say no, that is a hug. You can also tweet to the New York Public Library. If you send them an emoji, they will send you something from the archives. Send them a juggling person, you get this, not bad. Send them a 10-pin bowling. You'll get something from the archives that looks like this. And I know you all want to know. I also wanted to know. I was genuinely, I didn't know. This is called the pile of poo. You send them a pile of poo, and this is what you get. So that's fun. That's just a fun emoji thing that people like. New emojis bring up a lot of questions, like the this but not that. This is the emoji set for this year. 69 new characters approved. And yeah, it brings up questions. And the real issue is that you can't encode everything, right? Someone has to make a decision. And at Unicode, there's the Emoji Subcommittee, and there's the technical committee. This is what we came up with this year. But honestly, encoding every emoji is literally impossible. So it doesn't matter which direction you go in, you're always going to come up against some issues. Some things that we came into this time around, dinosaurs. Someone proposed one dinosaur emoji, and then there was a contingent of people that said, well, that's ridiculous. How can you have a dinosaur emoji when it'd be like having an animal emoji? I mean, it's not incorporating enough. We need at least 20 dinosaur emojis. Other proposals said 30. We ended up with 2. You got the bearded person here, originally proposed as a bearded man, but was called bearded person so that there's room to make a bearded woman later as well, which seems amusing. It is, and it is on some level, but gender inclusivity is a real issue in emoji too. This is what's on the cards right now, is this sort of third gender, a neutral option. And it seems crazy sometimes, but on the other hand, if you are someone that doesn't strongly identify as a man or a woman, it could be frustrating having to pick, having to choose, am I talking about a male police officer or a female police officer? So this is being discussed right now, and it shows some of the complexities. This one seems obvious, the face with the monocle. This got approved this year, but Google yesterday at Google I/O announced their new emoji set, and this is what their monocle looks like. So you get a real issue down at the vendor level where this isn't called shocked face with monocle, and yet these are the issues we have. Now, before I leave you, I want to leave you some quick emoji warnings. A couch, it doesn't matter that it looks different on every platform. The gun, on the other hand, does matter what it looks like on every platform. Apple changing that to a water pistol really, yeah, it's problematic. Those Samsung users in the room, never use this emoji. If you have a Samsung Galaxy phone, I promise you it will not end well. You send this, it's quite nice. Hey honey, what's for dinner? Your iPhone using partner at home gets this. Never use this emoji. So it's all well and good having Unicode as the gatekeepers, but really it's down to your phone. It's how they do it. And I have honestly heard, the reason this picked up for me is I've heard from Emojipedia users being like, dude, what the hell? I nearly broke up over this emoji. So that's what it looks like. It's just Samsung. Everybody else gets it. They're different but the same. So do not use that. Now finally, it's in the interpretation of an emoji. So Unicode, they'll encode an emoji. They'll say, here's what it's meant to do. The vendors design their own image. And then it's up to us on how we interpret it. But what are the kids doing? What are the kids doing? We all want to know, how are the kids using emojis? And I've got some sound on this video here. Thankfully, we've got television to tell us. A bit of audio.
And cyber experts say kids are starting to use some as a secret code that we as parents can't necessarily figure out.
Now, I don't mean to alarm anybody, but there is one emoji. I'm going to leave you with this. There's one emoji that apparently I didn't realize does not mean what we think it means, and thankfully, television will tell us.
Flower.
A flower. You think that's just a flower,
It means
right?
you want to bring your mother flowers.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
It can also mean drugs.
What?
Yes, this can mean drugs.
There you go. So sorry to say, that means drugs, apparently, according to US television. So maybe everybody can send out some flower emojis and enjoy a little bit of what's going on. Thanks, everybody. It's been great to be here. I really appreciate it.